Hey, hey, hey. Time for another Out of This World story from rSpace. Some marriages are like co-op games. You support each other, share the load, and try not to rage quit. Others are like being mid-match in ranked play when your partner suddenly drops a "I cheated" bomb, pauses your life, and leaves you wondering if you ever actually had control. Today on rSpace, we're watching a 6-year campaign go sideways. Wife admitted to 2 affairs because she felt guilty. I didn't feel guilty about blowing everything up. I, 33 male, have just found out from my wife's 33 female own mouth that she has cheated on me in the past. Not just once, but affairs with 2 different men. The only reason I found out was that the guilt was eating her up. I would never have known otherwise. I would have been in the dark, and I hate that. I thought we had a good marriage. I did my best at least. I don't know about her, but I never had too many complaints. It felt to me like a good marriage. If someone is cheating, I guess it's not a good marriage. We've been together for 6 years. It feels like I just wasted 6 years of my life, and I'll never get them back. I was in the living room, on my Xbox, when she walked in and said that she had something she wanted to tell me. I was playing online, so I had her wait for the match to finish. I was still chatting with my boys after the match, but she snapped. She said she really had to talk to me, so I got off the game. That was when she said she had something to confess. I asked her what it was. I was already worried because her mood was strange. It was serious, so I knew that whatever she had to say would ruin my day. I thought she'd say she got scammed, or she spent too much on a stupid purchase. I didn't think she would tell me she had an affair. She literally said, "I cheated on you." When she saw my shock, she tried to soften the blow. She said it was a long time ago, that it was in the first half of our marriage. I found it very hard to respond. I didn't know what to say because I never imagined it would happen to me. A lot of us know how we'd act if we found it out ourselves, but the confession was unexpected. The first thing I asked myself was whether I could forgive. The confession really screwed me up. On one hand, you want to give credit for it, but on the other hand, it's cheating, right? That's why I didn't know what to do. I didn't want my life to end, at least what I thought was one of the happiest parts of my life. It was breaking my heart. I was still on the fence about forgiveness, but then she gave me the details. It's just my opinion, but I think no man would forgive a cheating woman if they really think about the act of cheating. Someone else on top of your wife or girlfriend, taking the spot that's meant to be yours. It's a horrible thought, and I really had to think about it. The first time was before we had been married for 2 years. It was the husband of one of her friends. She said it only went on for 2 months, and they only met a handful of times. I didn't know if I was meant to believe her, but she admitted the affair herself, so I chose to believe it. I knew the guy. We weren't friends, but we were familiar. It made it worse for me because he had probably seen me after their affair and still joked around with me. We moved out of that city eventually. I thought that was bad enough. Then she said, "There's one more." I felt like I was going to have a panic attack. I remember how badly my heart was beating. I haven't felt that bad ever. The other guy was a random person that she had met at a bar. They had gone out a few times. She claimed it was initially as friends. One day she followed him home, and that was when things got out of hand. She said she regretted it, but it was exciting, so she did it again. It is so hard to describe how I felt. I asked her when she was going to bars. That led to her admitting more dishonesty. I had to recall a month when she was working on a project and staying late. The project was real, and she stayed late a lot, but not all the time. Some of those times, she just didn't come home early. She went bar hopping with colleagues, and a few times alone. Alone was when she found this guy. I was so mad. I don't think I've ever been that angry before. It took me a long time before I could speak to her, and she just sat there quietly. I asked her why she chose to tell me. I don't think I'm a weak man, but in that moment, I wonder why she just didn't keep it to herself. Did I have to know? At that time, it felt like the confession had ruined my whole life. I've calmed down, but it sort of still feels that way. It was a lot for me. She told me that she felt guilty. She needed to come clean for her peace of mind. I asked her whether she cared about my peace of mind. She said some bull about how I wouldn't truly have peace of mind if I didn't know the truth. I didn't agree. I was fine before. She cheated on me, and twice. I still don't understand what she thought was going to happen. I told her to leave, and before she did, she said that she was sorry. Confessing to the affair was the right thing to do. I just wish I never had to be the one to confess to. This happened less than a week ago. In that time, I've been thinking a lot. I wonder if there was something that could have been done. Could I have done more in any aspect of being a husband? I'm not blaming myself, I'm just curious. If I was 10 times better in the bedroom, Would that have helped? Was the mistake marrying her of all people? Is there some way you can know a cheater before they actually cheat? I've told myself that the answer is no, but I'm still struggling to convince myself. I don't think that I can forgive her. She's caused me a lot of pain, too much pain. I've been struggling to sleep. Even at work, I get pockets where I just can't concentrate. Because if you love someone that way I loved her, you'll understand how painful the thing was. It's easy to distance yourself emotionally when you're just reading this. I pray you don't experience a cheating partner. It kills you from the inside. If you're a cheating partner, really think about if you want to confess. I know it is the right thing to do, but it is in the past and you've learned your lesson. Really consider the damage you might cause. Maybe life isn't all about doing what you consider to be morally right. Say what you want to say about me. I don't think I care. Update 1. I didn't think that I was going to write an update to the last post. After all of that happened, my mental health tanked. I was off the internet for a long time. That's why I didn't reply to anything. My wife moved out of the apartment at my request. I couldn't have her there anymore because she was doing the whole kumbaya thing, confessing to her sins and all of that. She didn't fight. She just left. I've gotten the chance to get my thoughts together and be less of a wreck. I still stick by some of the things I said at the end of my last post. I feel less passionate about those viewpoints, but at the core, I maintain what I said. I reached out to her because I wanted to ask questions, considering I was better adjusted at that point. I asked whether her affair partner's wife, her friend, knew about it. She said no. I asked why not. She said it wasn't her place to confess. It was up to her husband. I pointed out that she had betrayed her friend too, but she refused to see it that way. The most she could do was advise her friend's husband to confess, and at that point, she could come forward to her friend. The reasoning was annoying me. I assumed she was scared of telling her friend. I was pissed that she found it easy enough to tell me though. Next, I asked her about the guy at the bar. I got his name. I asked the last time they had spoken, and she said he reached out on Facebook here and there, but after a while, she just stopped responding to him. Then I wanted to find out whether she had thought of cheating on me since then. She hesitated, but eventually said it almost happened once. She liked the person, set a date and time, but bowed out. Her conscience did the right thing, and she said it like she wanted me to applaud. I told her to tell me what she thought was going to happen to us after her confession. She didn't want to say anything. I guess she realized that any answer would make her look bad. I pushed for an answer though. It's up to you. I will take any outcome you think is right. At that point, I think I was still very undecided. I was leaning to a divorce. I wanted to give it a chance, however. She suggested we go for therapy. We did one session together, and it only set me off. It fixed nothing, so I told her there was no point. I also did 2 solo sessions, but I realized then that there was no forgiveness in me. I could choose to keep going, and maybe I'd get over it for the most part. The problem I realized was that I couldn't trust her anymore. Things were poisoned. It's going to be divorce. I've spoken to a lawyer. I'll have her served as soon as I can. I just want this whole thing to be over. It's been enough of a headache. Man, she really looked you dead in the eyes, waited for you to finish an Xbox match, and then dropped a nuclear confession. Let's call it what it is. She didn't confess to be noble. She confessed because she couldn't stand carrying the weight alone and figured she'd pass the emotional debt to you like some kind of karmic hot potato. But she didn't just cheat once, but twice. Update 2. I served my wife with the divorce papers. It happened on a weekend. She told me where she was staying, so it was easy for the process server to find her and deliver the papers. She didn't call me when she got them. Instead, she just showed up at the apartment a few hours later. She didn't seem angry, but she said that we had to talk. She kept trying to find out if I was sure, and I emphasized to her that I was. There was no doubt in my mind that things had to end between us because there wasn't a future. It was the consequence of her actions. She cheated and she confessed. She left the decision up to me, and I chose to end our happy little life together after 6 years. She told me that she understood. She promised me that she was going to make the divorce easy. That way we'd spend less on legal costs and we'd get closure quicker. She didn't keep her word though. When the divorce came, I put out what I thought was a very fair split. It leaned more towards me, but that was fair. She cheated and she confessed. There was no reason why she deserved any more than what I put aside for her. Her claim of trying to make things very easy disappeared. I'm sure what had happened was that the moment she and her lawyer went over the documents, they realized how much she stood to gain. It's not like life-changing money, but it was a sum that would make life nicer for about a year or two. They wanted every dime they could get. That was how things became drawn out, and I hated it. My parents got divorced when I was a teenager, so I remember it very well. It was horrible because it was messy and they fought a lot. It wasn't messy in my case because I made sure it wasn't messy. I just hated the fact that it was going to go on for so long. When we got to the court, I already knew that I was going to get the short straw. Isn't that how divorce is for men? The legal system sucks. I got to keep the apartment. She received an order to pick up all her things within a week, or I was free to do with them what I wanted. She did pick them up. She got a 50% split of our cash and the value of half of our stocks I had vested in. I was irritated by that because I've done a lot of work when it comes to investments, and she had no impact on any of that. I don't have to pay alimony, and that might be the only way I might have come out on top. Now my wife is an ex-wife. It's not the kind of thing I'd expect to be happy about, but I'm glad. I hate that she wasted months of my life in the divorce process. I hate that she wasted years of my life in a marriage that wasn't going to last. It's over. I won't spend too much time on regret and moping. Life goes on, doesn't it? Update 3. I never thought I'd return for yet another update, but here I am. This is very likely the last one. If it is not, it means my life is becoming a lot more dramatic than I wished for. After the divorce was finalized, I was fine with not talking to my ex-wife or even thinking about her. I don't know what it was, but the longer we were divorced, the more I started to resent her. It's crazy because I don't feel that strongly about her even after she confessed to her affairs. Maybe it was the impact of being alone and knowing that it was my new reality. I wanted to send her angry messages, but it was going to make me look weak. I always deleted the paragraphs I had typed. It was the day I saw her post herself at the spa that I felt triggered. I didn't want her to be happy, mainly because it felt like she was using the money she took from me to do all of that. It hurt me a lot, and I chose to blow everything up. I called her friend and her husband. It was a video call because I wanted to see their faces. I was closer to my ex-wife's friend than I was to her husband. I wasn't close enough to either of them to feel bad. They were suspicious that I was calling in the first place. I'm sure the husband might have had an inkling. I didn't waste time. I told them my ex-wife and I were divorced. They said they knew and they were sorry. I followed up and said that she had cheated on me, and one of the affair partners was the husband on the call. I mentioned that it happened years ago. His wife opened her mouth and looked at him. She wasn't sure what to believe. He reacted over the phone and ended the call. I didn't bother calling back because that was enough. 3 days later, the wife called. She was angry at me, but she still wanted more info. I shared all of it. I told her how I had questioned my ex about telling the truth to either of her or her husband, and what her response had been. Her friend felt betrayed. Naturally, I don't know how things are going with her and her husband, but I know I ruined things between her and my ex. I also searched for her second affair partner. He was hard to find, but I eventually did. He is married, but I had to find out if he was married back then. I learned he hadn't been, but if he was like the average person, he was dating his wife when it happened. I found her and shared the information with her. The year in particular. It was up to her to find out whether it happened when they were together in any way. I didn't follow up on that because there's really no point. The last thing she told me was that they had been dating for most of that year, but it was possible that it happened at the start of the year before they were together. I found out how things had hit my ex because she contacted me. "You had absolutely no right." I still remember how her voice was trembling with anger. She was especially mad because we had talked about confessing all around. She had been explicit about what she felt was right, and I had gone around it. She was very angry that I ruined her friendship. I told her very patiently that she ruined our marriage. Her friendship didn't deserve to be alive when she cheated with that friend's husband. I did the right thing. If her friend chose to forgive her, that was fine. But she wasn't allowed to smile with someone when she betrayed her and slept with her husband. It didn't make any sense. I made it extremely clear that she was just dodging accountability by not confessing to everyone involved. I accused her of probably having someone on the side. Her confession was just a way to get me to end things without her putting in the effort. She got really mad at that. Very mad. She hated the way the accusation made her seem. At a point, her anger started to seem exaggerated. I also let her know about her second affair partner. I did a confession of my own, so she knew that I had told his wife. She said he wasn't married back then. I asked if she was sure, but she wasn't, because he was next to a one-night stand. She knew so little about him, yet still cheated with him. The bottom line was that she didn't have the right to be angry. I made sure she understood, and that was the last of it. She came to my house later that night. She was drunk. She made a huge scene. I didn't open the door because of how she was acting, and she eventually got the cops called on her and was arrested for public intoxication. She was out soon after, but I'm sure she was humbled by that. The final thing I did was tell her family why we divorced. I know for a fact that she didn't tell them the truth. I don't know if she painted me badly, but I just wanted to make sure that they knew what actually happened, even if they didn't believe me. Naturally, they didn't want to talk to me, But I got my message across, and that's what matters the most. They might not want to admit it, but I'm sure at least a few of them believe me, and that's good enough. I've blocked her. I don't have alimony to pay, so we don't need to stay in contact. She contacted me through Instagram in the end, angry at how I started to do too much to get back at her. I never responded. I just blocked her there too. I'm tired of everything, so I'm not looking for another piece of revenge. I've done enough. It's not the craziest, but it is enough for me. It has hit her hard enough for her to have been as angry as I've seen her. That's a win for me. Women will be very hard for me to trust going forward, but I'm going to try. I don't want her to ruin the entire gender for me. She couldn't tell her friends she slept with her husband because that wasn't her place. But apparently fighting you tooth and nail for stocks she never touched was her place. Priorities. When someone sets your marriage on fire, you generally don't stick around. Her showing up drunk at your door screaming and then she tried to scold you through Instagram? Please. There's nothing worse than an adult having a tantrum. If you found out your partner had multiple affairs years into your marriage, would you want to know the full details? Or would ignorance truly be bliss? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And thank you for joining us today on rSpace. Be sure to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. See you next time.